welcome back to Kitchen Instruments. Now today is going to be a fun episode because today I'm going to show you guys how to make one of my favorite food basics. How to make an amazing pizza dough. And we're not going to use any machines, we're not going to use any dough hooks, we're just going to do it all by hand. So let's get to it. Alright, so let's take a minute to talk pizza dough. Now, making a good pizza dough is actually really simple. You don't need all this machinery, you don't need fancy gadgets, nothing like that. You just need your two hands and a little bit of knowledge. And flour and yeast and stuff like that. Now, making pizza dough is easy. You just have to follow a couple simple rules. You have to know how to manage your yeast, you have to know how to knead properly, and you have to know how to let your dough proof. Those are the three big things in bread making, and that's essentially what we're doing is we're making bread. Okay, so now for our first step, we have to prepare a yeast. Now, one, you want to make sure that the yeast you use is still alive. That's big. Dead yeast does not produce good rise. Trust me, I've made that mistake about a bazillion times. And to proof your yeast correctly, you need warm water, you need sugar, and you need thyme. Not the herb thyme. Thyme. Now, the warm water is actually what's going to activate the yeast, and the sugar is what's actually going to feed the yeast. So mixing sugar and water together and then adding your yeast is actually a really good way to go. But you want to make sure that your water's not too hot because that's like jumping into a hot tub that's like 155 degrees. Same thing for the yeast. And the second thing is you don't want to add salt. Salt will kill the yeast. Don't add salt. And the second thing is we have to learn how to knead properly. Now, gluten building in bread is vital. If you don't knead properly, if you knead too little, then you're going to end up with a dough that doesn't have the right gluten structure and it's not going to hold air. If you knead too much, you're going to end up with bread that's too tough. You got to find that sweet spot somewhere in the middle. Alright, and the third thing is proofing. Now, what does proofing do exactly? Well, all the flavor comes from proofing. You have to let the dough rise and just kind of let it ferment a little bit, and that's what's going to create that flavor that you want in your crust. Now, if you don't proof your dough properly, it's not going to get the right rise in the oven, and it's going to taste bland like grade school pizza. And nobody likes grade school pizza. Now, if you get these few simple rules down, you're well on your way to pizza heaven. Now, this recipe is delicious, and it's pretty versatile. You can make focaccia bread, you can make breadsticks, you can make pizza, all sorts of stuff. So feel free to get creative, get nuts, go wild. Sky's the limit. And as always, if you enjoyed this week's video, please feel free to give it a like and also share it because it really does help this channel grow by helping it reach a broader audience. And also, if you're a real fan of the show, feel free to subscribe so you get notifications each time a new show comes out, which is usually about 2 or 3 times a week. Alright, so who's ready to try their hand at homemade pizza dough without them fancy gadgets? Yeah, let's do this. Alright, and that's how easy it is to make homemade pizza dough with just these two hands. Incredible. Alright, well that's all I have time for today, so stop by next week where I'm going to take this pizza dough and put it to good use by combining it with Dutch apple pie to make Dutch apple crunch pizza. Oh my god. I'll see you next week.